Sakura is a pharmacist who is known for being honest and hardworking. She always puts her work before her family, sometimes working till midnight to finish her tasks. Her family hates this habit of hers, but Sakura doesn't care, she just wants to continue helping people. One night, as she's working in her lab, a mysterious person arrives at the door and shoots her with a gun. Sakura, who's facing the other side, is fatally shot in her lower chest, and the bullet goes through her. It appears as if she's going to bleed out immediately, but just then something strange happens. Time suddenly freezes inside the lab, and the god of death Shinigami appears right before her as Sakura witnesses everything in disbelief. Shinigami mentions that she's going to die soon, however he can provide her with 15 seconds to catch the killer. The task is a challenging one as 15 seconds is barely enough to identify the killer, let alone apprehend him or her. Nonetheless, Sakura is adamant on finding out the truth on why she was abruptly shot. She believes that she's a good person who doesn't have any enemies at all. Following this, Shinigami begins describing the rules of the additional 15 seconds. He says that as soon as he starts the timer, Sakura will have to find a way to catch the killer. However, she's given the option to pause and restart the 15 seconds at any instant. This means that she can complete one task, pause the time, and then think about her next step. The introduction of this rule makes Sakura more hopeful that she can succeed in her mission. In the next scene, the timer finally starts and Sakura attempts to complete her first task, which is to turn around and see the killer. Unfortunately, as she's just been shot, the pain is still reverberating in her body. This causes Sakura to whimper in pain, and by the time she pauses the timer, a second has already passed. Now the already difficult task has been made more challenging as Sakura has only 14 seconds left on the timer. However, unwilling to give up, she uses the last ounce of her strength and finally turns around when the timer resumes. To her disbelief, the killer is revealed to be Kim, the daughter of one of her former clients. It's revealed that her mother suffered from depression and took regular medication from Sakura, but even after months of treatment, her symptoms didn't improve. Kim found her lying on the floor and became devastated at the scene. This is when she became determined to exact revenge against Sakura. Back in the room, Sakura realizes that Kim is after her because of her mother's death. Since she's innocent, she wants the police to know that it was Kim who shot her. Now, Sakura's only plan is to frame Kim for the murder. There might be only 13 seconds left on the timer, but she has a plan already and is wasting no time. She restarts the timer and throws some powder on the floor. She then grabs the remote for the lights and turns them off, making the room completely dark. The logic behind this is that when the killer enters the room, she will inadvertently step on the powder and thus leave. Footprints will help the police easily find and apprehend her. Sakura manages to complete the task in 2 seconds, but she believes that it is still not enough, so she resumes the timer and hurries to her desk, where she grabs a marker and starts scribbling the name of the killer. When she says pause, only 8 seconds are remaining on the timer. Shinigami, who's watching all these comments, says that the idea is too simple, as Kim will definitely notice her name on the table and scribble all over it. However, Sakura responds that it's exactly what she wants. Saying this, she restarts the timer, breaks a vase of flowers on the table, and covers Kim's name with it. She then throws the marker away, making sure that the killer will never find it. Sakura says now that if Kim wants to alter the writing, she will have to use another marker on the table, but since this marker has different ink, the police will easily find out about it. Shinigami finds the idea brilliant, but he says that the killer won't fall for it so easily. Sakura will have to do something else with only 7 seconds remaining on the timer. Now, hearing this, the latter appears worried, but right then another idea comes to her mind. She restarts the timer and inserts 2 roses inside the electric socket. She then kicks a nearby bucket and spills all the water on the floor. By the time she's done, there are only 5 seconds left. Nonetheless, Sakura believes that her plan will certainly work. She explains that the rose flowers are blocking the writing on the table, and Kim will have to remove them at some point, and in the process, she will step on the water and get electrocuted. Sakura believes that the shock will be enough to kill the killer. Hearing all this, even the god of death becomes impressed and starts clapping. However, Sakura is still not content with the remaining 5 seconds on the timer. She wants to leave more details for the police. However, when she lunges to get something unfortunate happens, and the killer shoots her once again right through the chest. It turns out that when Sakura turned around earlier, Kim assumed that she was going to attack. Not willing to take any chances, she shot the poor pharmacist. Due to this setback, only 0.6 seconds are remaining on the timer. Shinigami approaches her and asks her to give up, saying the remaining time is not sufficient to do anything. Sakura accepts her fate as well, but before passing away, she wants Kim to know the actual truth, So with every ounce of strength in her body, Sakura dives to the floor and grabs an envelope that apparently holds top-secret information. She also grabs a marker to write a note for Kim, but before she can even begin, the timer runs out. In this way, Sakura dies a tragic death in the next scene. Kim enters the room slowly but cautiously. When she sees the state of the room, she immediately realizes that Sakura has made some clever changes, but Kim is a smart girl as well, so she avoids leaving footprints on the floor. She quickly puts on Sakura's slippers and enters the room. Following this, she notices her name on the messed-up desk and prepares to scribble over it. However, when she grabs the marker on the table, she immediately realizes it's a different one, so she looks around the room and eventually finds the correct marker this way. Kim has evaded 2 of the traps set for her. Now she only has to scribble over her name on the messed-up desk, but as soon as she touches it, she gets electrocuted because of the wet floor. Kim doesn't get killed, but the shock manages to knock her out cold a few hours later when she finally wakes up to the footsteps of the security guard. Alarmed, Kim quickly gets up, grabs the marker, and writes over her name to leave no details for the police. However, as she's about to leave, she notices the envelope in Sakura's hands and takes it away, believing that it's important evidence. Kim then goes to another room and opens the envelope, inside which she finds a letter. Surprisingly, as soon as she reads it, she starts crying. It is revealed that the letter is from none other than her mother. The woman, who had been battling depression for a long time, believed that she had become a burden to her daughter, hence, she stopped taking the medications prescribed by Sakura, which plunged her into an even deeper abyss of depression. At last, when she wasn't able to endure, she took poison and ended her life. After going through it all, Kim is devastated, as she has taken the life of an innocent person who was just trying to help her mother. She falls to the floor and starts crying profusely in the final scene, and the police arrive and begin investigating the area. Surprisingly, they find a note with Kim's name written on it. Because of this, the killer was finally apprehended. The movie ends as Shinigami holds 2 flowers over the deceased Sakura. He reveals that he wrote the note himself because he wanted to reward her hard work and determination.